This is a special webinar session on the preemptive nuclear attacks on the Korean Peninsula, by whom we do not know, okay? Some newspapers argue that there is a North Korean use of 80 nuclear weapons. Some others argue it is American use of 80 nuclear weapons. But whoever uses 80 nuclear weapons, there could be a catastrophic end of the Korean Peninsula.
Let me start by going quickly through history of American government attitudes towards the use of nuclear weapons as they affect the Korean Peninsula, because I think a lot of the things that we hear about that are scary are the residue, the vestiges of the policy that was adopted in the Eisenhower administration. Eisenhower had a very different view. His view was that we had to use nuclear weapons, that we were outmanned by the Russians and the Chinese, and that the only way the United States could meet its security commitments was to threaten and plan to use nuclear weapons. So that nuclear weapons were put everywhere in the world where it was possible to do so.
You know, that at one point, with the mention in the book, there's actually the question that it could have been a reference to 80 North Korean nuclear weapons. And you know, my immediate response to that was, well, that's nonsense. You know, that first of all, I mean, they don't have, as far as we know and as far as I estimate, they don't have 80 nuclear weapons. Not even thinking about how in the world you'd actually shoot off 80 nuclear weapons.
The story really begins actually in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Roughly 50,000 Koreans died in those two nuclear strikes, and then another roughly 23,000 returned to Korea. We Americans tend to forget that, but I think it's deeply imprinted in the Korean psyche. In a sense, all Koreans are more expert on nuclear war than all our nuclear experts in the United States combined, because they've been underground zero.
I read it, this 80 refers to a possibility for US again to use. I didn't actually read as the number 80 as a part of North Korea's provocation. Number one reason why I read like that way, as Dr. Hecker already explained, I've never heard from any source, any information source, I've never heard 80, the number 80, specific number 80, about the North Korea's capability.